Command codes verified. Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
Hello, Captains, and welcome to the live broadcast recording of episode 533 of Priority 1, a Roddenberry Star Trek podcast. We're back!
Yay! I know you're all super excited.
We have a great group already in the chat. We got Jamal giving me crap for turning it on and off again, which is, of course, the number one thing that tech support does. Dave Rutley, Jason Smith. We got Josh Heinrich over on YouTube.
Hello, everyone.
That's right. Hello. No Roscoe this week. He got sick. He was so jealous of our turkey consumption that he made himself sick over it. And so no Roscoe this week.
Feel better, Roscoe.
Feel better indeed. But we still have a show to do, and we're going to jump right in. I hope that you all had a very restful Thanksgiving. For those of you who did observe it. Kat, you didn't have any tofurkey. What is it? Tofurkey?
No.
Is it tofurkey? Sounds like a curse.
Yeah, there is tofurkey, which I also, no one made me. I know I could have made my own, but usually someone does.
So
Sad.
is it? I've never had tofurkey. Is it like? Is it tofu shaped like a turkey?
Yeah, but
Like
or
they
like
mold it
like a it's just like
with
a
the legs.
it'd
and
be
everything?
like a turkey breast. No, I mean no, it doesn't have
Oh.
legs and I mean I guess maybe some do, but no, it's just like a little ball of tofu.
You know how in Japan they have those? It might be Japan. It's not. It's definitely in Asia that they have these plastic things that you put like a young fruit in, like a young apple, and it's like it's in the shape. The plastic encasement is in the shape of a heart, and so as the fruit grows, it takes the shape of the plastic mold.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
So is it the same with tofurkey? Like they just inject the tofu in a turkey mold, and then you're.
I mean, I've not actually seen one. I think you'd have to like put it together yourself. I mean, usually they're just not. It's like a block of tofu, basically, with the corners. You know, it's pretty good though if you season it right, and yeah, it all comes down to the seasoning.
I don't listen. I'm not knocking it. I've had I have vegan and vegetarian friends, and I am never one to shy away from trying new things.
Well, I'm more for the side dishes anyway. You throw some stuffing, cornbread stuffing that wasn't cooked in the bird, and mashed potatoes. I am all over that.
Nice. Well,
Macaroni and cheese. I mean, I'm in the South, so we have macaroni and cheese here.
nice. I learned that macaroni and cheese is also a Puerto Rican thing.
Really?
My uncle's wife, my aunt, she's Puerto Rican, and they always make mac and cheese, and it never was Cubans don't do mac and cheese for sure. But then my coworker, who's also Puerto Rican, said, yeah, we, my mom always makes mac and cheese. I was like, what? Mac and cheese? Really?
Oh, wow.
That's a Puerto Rican thing, huh?
Well, my ex-boyfriend, his uncle was part Jamaican, and he would make these sweet potatoes with rum. Holy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were like, they were the best thing ever.
Nice.
I really should try and get that recipe.
Yeah, that sounds good. Sweet potatoes and rum.
Oh,
good.
man. They go great together, by the way.
Nice. Well,
yeah.
For those of you in the chat, like I said, I hope you had, at the very least, a restful, break, that you got some time off it, hopefully, and were able to recharge your batteries. Shout out to Jamal already, who shared our live stream to his Facebook page. Thank you so very much, Jamal. That goes a really long way, folks. So if you, if you have the opportunity, if you have a social media presence in any way, shape, or form, we appreciate it if you like and share the live stream. So, without further ado, let's start this show. Kat, you okay with timestamps?
I suppose, since I'm the only other person here today.
Yeah. All right.
Hold on 1 second. I wasn't quite ready for that.
Oh,
okay.
All right.
All right.
Actually, give me 1 quick second.
Thank you, Jason Smith, for retweeting on Twitter.
Okay. All right, I'm going to record, and we'll get that visual countdown. All right, intro in 3, 2.
Oh, am I doing it?
Yeah, you might as well.
Okay. This week on episode 533 of Priority One, ViacomCBS tries to make amends to the world. First Contact celebrates 25 years. Badgey finally makes it into Star Trek Online. And we continue our Season 4 review of Star Trek Discovery.
Hello, Captains. You're listening to episode 533 of Priority One, a Roddenberry Star Trek podcast. Your weekly recap and review of all the major news happening in the Star Trek multiverse. This episode was recorded on Tuesday, November 30th, and available for download or streaming on Friday, December 3rd at PriorityOnePodcast.com. I'm Elio.
I'm Kat.
And unfortunately, there's no Roscoe this week. He accidentally ate a turkey and learned that he has an allergic reaction. I'm kidding. He's just feeling under the weather, and we hope he has a speedy recovery.
Absolutely. And I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. We hope that at the very least, for those of you who observed it, had some rest. Hopefully you got some food in some way, shape, or form. Kat, did you have a good Thanksgiving?
I did. It was great.
Nice.
Got to see the family, got to see some friends, had some drinks.
But no tofurkey.
No tofurkey.
Unbelievable.
But apple pie. It was delicious.
Good. Awesome. Well, I actually over the break, I got a chance to read Brent Spiner's new novel, fan fiction noir book.
Is it good?
So I listened to the audio book version of it that I really enjoyed. It's fun. This is not War and Peace.
Does he narrate it himself?
But he does. He narrates it, and
absolutely.
The full TNG cast comes on to read their parts.
What?
Yeah. So it's really, really fun. It is a fun book, especially the audio version, because Brent Spiner's a ham and he loves to perform, and he loves to kick it up several notches. Plus, there's the TNG cast. So you've got Michael Dorn, Marina Sirtis, Gates McFadden, LeVar Burton, and Sir Patrick Stewart coming on to tell these funny little anecdotes and be a part of this story that he wrote. I highly recommend it. Get it, get it as an audiobook. I don't know that I would have enjoyed it reading it, but as an audiobook, it was a fun adventure.
Amazing. Okay, I have 1 credit until my next credit. I'm totally getting it.
Absolutely. You should totally do it. And if you do listen to it, Captains, and you enjoy it, tweet at Brent Spiner, say that Priority One sent you to listen to it. Speaking of social media, I also want to give a shout out. Actually, I'll save this for later.
Okay.
You can go
do you
ahead
want me
before
to
we
do
jump.
both of these parts?
Yeah, go ahead and just read both of these parts.
Okay. Before we jump into the news, we want to welcome new listeners to the show, and we hope you'll stay in touch because you see this. Damn it. Where was I going with that? You see, this show is produced by a community of volunteers.
Take it from the top because I don't know that.
Damn it.
The last sentence is gonna it's
All right. Alrighty, my throat is scratchy today. Sorry, you're going to have to deal with all that. Before we jump into the news, we want to welcome new listeners to the show, and we hope you'll stay in touch. You see, this show is produced by a community of volunteers who donate their time and talents because, like you, they're passionate about what Star Trek is all about. So we hope you'll get involved and be a part of our community. Follow us on social media so you can share your thoughts about the weekly headlines. Join the Armada so that you can experience Star Trek gaming with like-minded Trekkies, or consider joining the team and lending your skills and passion to producing this show.
Captains, if you don't already know, we do have a Patreon page that is available for you to be a member of our Patreon family. If you find value in the content and production of this podcast, we encourage you to offer a financial... If you find value in the production of the show and you have a few extra dollars to spare each month, then visit us over on our Patreon page at patreon.com/priority1. We do offer some cool perks there that try to entice you and add some bonus content when you become a member of our Patreon family. But I want to go back a second because we talked about social media. And we understand that, offering a financial contribution to a show like ours may not be feasible, right? We got to tighten the purse strings nowadays. But another way you can support the show is by tweeting about us or sharing our show on social media like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, of course. That goes an incredible distance in letting other people know that our show provides weekly content that you enjoy and that you recommend. Your recommendations go so far. So, I want to give a quick shout out to folks like Ginger Trekkie on Twitter who mentioned that they were enjoying our latest episode along with a cup of coffee. To folks like Dennis Koch who constantly share our posts and announcements of new episodes. Folks like Jamal, who's always involved in sharing our content. Jason Smith. Folks, when you take a moment to share our show, that goes a long way. So please consider sharing our content when you see it on social media and recommend the podcast to your friends.
Now let's find out what's been happening in the Star Trek multiverse.
All right, that ended at 6:23.
Aw, thank you, Joey Brooks Rose.
Hey, thanks, Joey. Okay. And I'm gonna split this. So I'll do cat. So you can't. You take the first one. I'll take this next one. Then we'll split it. You take that one, and then I'll read the one you wrote, and then you can comment on it.
Yeah. Okay.
That work? All right. All right. Truck it out. 7:20. 3, 2. Before we... Oh, you go first. My bad.
Okay. Well, then do you need to do the outro for the last bit?
Nah, that's fine. It's not.
Okay.
I don't know if you've noticed, but after doing this show for 10 years, I'm much more lax with these kind of things.
I mean...
you did the sweep out. It's fine.
But then if I didn't say anything, you'd be like, what the hell?
Have I ever said what the hell to anybody? Maybe Tony Hunter. Maybe Skiffy. I might give a what the hell. Never to anybody else on this
show. All right. Before we left you for our Thanksgiving break, we reported that ViacomCBS had pulled Star Trek Discovery from Netflix, leaving our friends outside the US and Canada without a way to watch the latest season until sometime in 2022. Wow. ViacomCBS has performed... Oh, let me start over. Well, ViacomCBS has performed a massive international course correction. Perhaps it was the international uproar. Perhaps it was because their poor planning was so misguided that it made headlines on news outlets like the BBC. Whatever the case may be, Paramount Plus announced that Star Trek Discovery will now be available internationally via Paramount Plus or Pluto TV. For a detailed list of which platform in which country Discovery will be made available, links will be in our show notes.
You know, when we first reported this 2 weeks ago, immediately it was just obvious that people were going to pirate Star Trek Discovery. And it turns out people did. Because according to Deadline, Star Trek Discovery ranked number 4 in pirated television. In generally any pirated, series, movie or series. Number 1 on the chart was Hawkeye season 1. Number 2, The Wheel of Time. 3, Dexter, and then Star Trek Discovery. So,
that's pretty impressive list, though. I mean, that's like, I guess if they wanted to create this drama and make it seem like everyone needed to watch Discovery, maybe it was a genius marketing ploy.
Maybe, but I don't know that I've ever seen Paramount about face so quickly.
Maybe they just couldn't mention anything about it because they were in negotiations. Maybe they had been working on this Pluto deal in the background. I don't know.
Well,
I'm fascinated.
Let me ask you this. So, is this something that could have been remedied quickly within a week's time, or do you think that this was already in the works?
Oh, absolutely. They had to have known first that the Netflix deal would probably not be able to be renegotiated with more favorable terms. So they had to have had a backup being worked on. Trust me, they probably had plan A, B, C, and D. I mean, if they were smart. So this was probably a contingency plan if the original Netflix deal didn't work out. So, but the timing announcement, that's where, it's interesting.
Right, because you would imagine that in order to license these things out globally, right, every country is different, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All the laws are different with a country. So how now Pluto TV, I believe, is in fact a Paramount Plus subsidiary. Like Pluto is owned by.
It's probably their international distribution company, so they're saving so much money because Pluto probably already purchased all the streaming rights for international distribution. So it was probably a much cheaper solution for them in the long run. Maybe they had it planned out, but just couldn't announce it. But wow, way to make everybody freak out for nothing then, if that's what your solution was.
Yeah, Pluto TV is in fact a ViacomCBS company streaming service that usually, like the big draw to it is that a lot of the stuff on there is free.
Right.
But again, what I'm curious about is the timetable, right? Because when they first announced it, it made it sound that they had no intention of expediting this until sometime in 2022. And yet with so much backlash from the community, like what
Yeah,
would it have taken
maybe
to be
deals
able
just
to make?
got. Yeah, I'm like, somebody called somebody and said, make this deal happen no matter what. So that's probably maybe what finalized it, because they were like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was a much needed course correction, and thankfully our friends abroad can now watch Star Trek Discovery either on Paramount Plus or Pluto TV. Now, it's been 25 years since Star Trek First Contact premiered in movie theaters. Now, widely regarded as one of the best films of the franchise, producing First Contact wasn't entirely a walk on the hull. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, writer Ronald D. Moore shares some behind-the-scenes stories about the film, including a clash with Sir Patrick Stewart. According to Moore, According to Moore, Stewart wasn't too thrilled about some of the writing, so he convinced Rick Berman to replace Moore and his co-writer, Brannon Braga, with some of Stewart's own writers. However, those new writers didn't quite work out, so Braga and Moore were brought back. Awkward! Moore shares the story, saying, quote, I remember Patrick at the outset just said something like, "It's good to see you. I hope that we can all move on from the things that have happened, and now let's just concentrate on the work." And I took that in the spirit it was given. He wants to move on from this. He's not going to apologize outright, but he kind of is apologizing, and it was never spoken of again, so we just moved on.
Moore also spoke with Sci-Fi about his work on the film. In this interview, there's more discussion about... Oh, I'm assuming this is actual.
Yeah.
Moore also spoke with Sci-Fi about his work on the film. In this interview, there's more discussion about the actual development of the script and its production. For instance, did you know that one of the original drafts had Riker as the action star facing off against the Borg aboard the Enterprise? But Sir Patrick wanted in on the action, recalling the episode Starship Mine. They even toyed with the idea of setting the film in medieval times. Yikes. When asked about scenes for stories that he wished hadn't been cut, Moore explains, quote, "There were just expanded sequences. There was just more action in general, more fighting the Borg in the corridors and going into different places on the ship. And I think there was more humor. A lot of the jokes got cut down. I think we had more fun with Troy and Cochrane's relationship on Earth when it... Oh. I think we had... Hold on. I think we had more fun with Troy and Cochrane's relationship on Earth where he gets her drunk. We had more to that sequence scripted, and that was fun to write, too. Rick might have made us cut it because he was always kind of worried that maybe the humor would be too corny or something." One aspect...
I'll read this part and then you read the quote.
Hold on, I forgot to say end quote. I forgot to say end quote.
Oh, my bad.
He was always kind of worried that maybe the humor would be too corny or something. End quote.
One aspect of the film that Trekkies like to debate is the introduction of the Borg Queen. Well, Trekkies aren't the only ones that debated her introduction. According to Moore, quote... Oh, go ahead. You read the quote.
Oh, I'm reading this quote? Yeah. Dang, it's a giant quote. "It was a choice that was also antithetical to the idea of the Borg. The whole concept of these villains was that they were a collection and that there was no individuals. And that's what made them the faceless, implacable, quote, resistance is futile." Hold on while I breathe for a moment. Stupid giant sentences. Okay. "And that's what made them the faceless, implacable, quote, resistance is futile enemy. But it's also limited to how... But it also limited how to deal with them dramatically. So we really went back and forth about it internally. We decided that the story would be better if we had some individual to deal with." to craft scenes around, to do an intimate kind of dialogue back and forth and help get inside characters' heads, like Data in particular and Picard. So what we came up with, a Borg queen that controlled at least this collective of that particular ship, not necessarily that she was queen of the whole Borg, end quote.
For more insight about the film and its production process, be sure to check out both interviews. Links, of course, will be in our show notes.
You know, that makes sense, I guess, how they're reasoning this out. I don't think I ever realized she wasn't the queen of all the Borg.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that gets expanded upon in Voyager, right? Because there's a new queen in that sector, I guess. It's never... I don't think it's ever...
It's not really explained. I'm like, I never came away with that message.
Yeah, it's never specified, right? That it's like there's a queen per hive kind of thing, but that instead that there's just one mega queen. You know, I get that there's a lot of criticism about putting a face, a voice, singular voice to the Borg. Because it changes the Borg from being a force to just being another villain, right? I actually remember having an in-depth conversation about this with Al Rivera for one of their villains that they had ever done for Star Trek Online. I think comparatively to the Herc. But listen, I think it, in terms of the overall story for Star Trek canon, I think it worked, and, you know, we've had some great stories involving the Borg, and why not? It's 25 years old. Did you see it in the theaters?
I did not see First Contact in the theater. I can't remember why. I think because Generations was so bad, I didn't want to see it. I don't know.
I think I was in the 6th or 7th grade. 96. I was 6th or 7th grade.
Oh Lord. Oh, you want to talk about how old I was in that age? Yeah, right. AJ.
I'm the baby of the group.
Yeah. Oh, did we read this last bit?
Go ahead. Yeah, I did the for more insights. Go ahead. Why don't you read the
Okay.
I will end with this, though. Star Trek First Contact is easily, like, my top 3. I think in at the top 3 in no particular order: Wrath of Khan, Undiscovered Country, and First Contact.
All right. I think it'd be in my top 5. I actually really like Nemesis. I know everyone hates that one, but I liked it.
Better than First Contact?
Yeah.
Get out of here. You're fired.
Yes.
Right now, you're fired. Bullshit.
I mean, First Contact, I never liked it until, like, I watched it more recently. It was not my favorite. I thought it was dumb. I know. I liked Nemesis. Whatever. He had that cool jacket.
I think the best segue would be, well, while we're talking about Picard.
Well, while we're talking about Picard, it is premiering in February. And thanks to Cameo, we're getting...
The new season is premiering. The new season of...
Damn it.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about... Well...
Yeah, we all have differences of opinion about the best Trek movie. I prefer Undiscovered Country as my very favorite. Thanks, Jamal. All right. Well, while we're talking about Picard, the next season's premiering in February, and now, thanks to Cameo, we're getting bits of information about the upcoming season, including Michelle Hurd's view on working with Whoopi Goldberg. She told a fan via Cameo what filming Picard season 2 was like, saying, quote, all right, go ahead.
No. I said give that back. Like take it from the top.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do the next part. All right. She told a fan via Cameo what filming Picard season 2 was like, saying, quote, I pinch myself. I am a fan too. I literally pinch myself when on set or get to work with these amazing, iconic creatures, end quote. And she was referring to both John Delancey's return as Q and Goldberg's return as Guinan. She went on to say that working with Goldberg was, quote, the bomb. She is so cool. She is just cool. She's just whoopee. That's all you can say, end quote. Now, not much is known about how Guinan may fit into season 2 of Picard. We know that her character has, of course, demonstrated a special ability to sense changes in timelines, which could probably factor into the time travel and alternate timelines featured in the upcoming season. And speaking of Whoopi Goldberg, she interviewed Sonequa Martin Green on The View recently, and if you've not had a chance to watch it, you really should. Green includes a very touching acknowledgement to Goldberg's history on Star Trek and how she and Nichelle Nichols paved the way for her to take on the captain role on Discovery. Green told Goldberg, quote, I am your accomplishment, and I thank you, end quote. Check out the full interview in our show notes.
I think we have to say Martin Green.
Is it Martin Green?
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Martin Green told Goldberg, quote, I am your accomplishment, and I thank you, end quote. Check out the full interview in our show notes. Did you watch that interview? It was really good.
I did see the clip, and it's true. It's important for young minds to see themselves in their own entertainment, right? To say, I want to be that, right? Something to model and aspire towards and for. And people like Whoopi Goldberg, Nichelle Nichols, paved the way in science fiction for people of color, for people who were marginalized. It allowed them to look up to them and, aspire for something, towards something.
Absolutely. It's a really touching moment. Man, the interview is great. I didn't realize that Sonequa Martin Green had lost both of her parents recently, which is really tough. So I know a lot of people have lost loved ones recently. So yeah, wow. It was a really, really good interview.
On a lighter, more trivial note, I will be really, really upset if they pull an Ocean's 13 and Whoopi, and they go back in time into the 2020s, and Guinan is a talk show host. I'm going to be so mad at that. So mad if they go back in time.
And just have her be Whoopi on The View?
Yeah, she's on a daytime talk show. Her name is not Guinan. She uses a different name, but she's a morning talk show host.
I didn't even think of that.
So mad if they try to pull that nonsense kind of humor, because it did not work in Ocean's 13.
I didn't know I haven't seen Ocean's 13.
I think it's 13, where Julia Roberts plays herself, imitating herself. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Oh, God. Jason Smith, or where she goes back and she's a nun.
Yes, or she's a nun. Yes, I really
hope
oh
my God, no.
that they don't try to make it funny in that kind of way.
Surely they would know, but okay, no, never mind.
Marina says it's Ocean's 12.
Oh, okay.
But I gotta tell you, I'll be so mad. So mad. But that brings us to a few headlines that we didn't discuss, but we thought might interest you. Links, of course, will be in our show notes. You can take the first one.
Okay. If you haven't signed up for Paramount Plus but have been eager to share Star Trek Prodigy with your kids, then set your... What? Like, what is that even? Then set your set-top boxes and TiVos.
You gave then take it from the top.
Like, I don't even know what those are. If you haven't signed up for Paramount Plus but have been eager to share Star Trek Prodigy with your kids, then set your set-top boxes and TiVos to record the Nickelodeon premiere happening Friday, December 17th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central.
Speaking of Prodigy, if you're eager to continue the adventure, don't forget that you'll have to wait until January 6th, 2022 for the next episode on Paramount Plus.
IDW Publishing announced that it would release Star Trek Klingons in February 2022. This comic book series will chronicle the legendary life of Kahless the Unforgettable. This release will be the first installment in a series of extra-long one-shots spotlighting the Star Trek franchise's most iconic alien species. Is that true? Most iconic? One of the most iconic alien species. It's written by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly and features artist Timothy Green II.
In an excellent in-depth interview excellent in-depth interview featured as part of Rolling Stone's Last Word series, LeVar Burton reflects on his Jeopardy experience, the magic of Star Trek conventions, the lasting importance of roots, and the advice he got from his friend Fred Rogers. So make sure to check that out. Links, of course, will be in our show notes.
Well, Captains, that's all the news we have to check out this week. Now let's find out what's... Dang it. Now let's find out what happened in the world of Star Trek gaming.
2835, please.
Yeah, right, AJ Biega, Vulcans. I mean, that's probably more iconic than Klingons. I don't know. Maybe we can make that a community question.
Yeah, that's a good idea for a community question. A poll, who's more iconic?
Yeah.
Remember to tell...
I'll tell James.
All right. Ready to jump into gaming?
Maybe. Yes. Okay.
All right. Let's do 2915. 2915. 3, 2, 1.
Oh,
it's that. Okay. Hold on.
Sorry.
How it's the most wonderful time of the year. Right,
yeah, I tried to Star Trek it up, but honestly, my creativity needed more wine today.
I need to get. If I'm gonna sing it, I gotta be in the right key. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Time to get those scarves and sweaters and head to Q's Winter Wonderland, where you can participate in your choice of Winter Wonderland activities in order to get a new Tier 6 starship. One that has yet to be announced at the time of this recording. This means that just like last year, daily progress towards earning your new starship can be obtained by participating in any of the following activities. Fastest game on ice, Klingon ice fishing, Tides of Ice, the Fast and the Furious, Cones of Conduct, and Fight the Krampiri. Once you run one of these events to earn your daily progress, you will also get various holiday ornaments, which can be used in different denominations to purchase all the things in the winter event store. Give me a second. A moment to...
I mean, that's fun.
I don't want to go into these kits.
That's all right.
Too granular.
I mean, you can just say well, we can just say, hey, some of the new stuff.
Yeah.
Include.
Go ahead and you describe the new stuff, but yeah, I definitely don't want to get this granular.
Okay. Well, I'm really excited about the new stuff, even if we don't really get a new event to run, but we get a new Batleth, the Nanopulse Batleths that they've had. This one is a really cool blue glowy one they're calling Glacial. So that looks pretty interesting. I know some people like to collect all of them, which I do, so I'm getting that. But also they have a new Breen ground set, so that's interesting that they're adding a full ground set to the winter store, because I don't think they've done that recently. So if you want to do some cold damage, that looks like a really interesting ground set. But what is the best thing about what they're including this year, in addition to the vanity pets, which are a rescue targ, and a barrel of Warnog, which is how is Warnog different than blood wine? Because maybe we need to have like a taste test comparison.
Maybe.
I don't know, but here's the big news: new sweaters. Oh my god, so excited because we get an ode to Badgey. You get all Lower Decks themed sweaters. You get the Choo Choo Dance in sweater form. You get Badgey, of course, the dog, and oh man, evil Jeffrey Combs computer Agamus. Yes, I want all the sweaters. I want all the pets. I'm so excited.
I like the sweaters. The sweaters are funny.
The
They're
sweater,
funny.
the
That's like-
dog. I mean, yeah, I love it.
I would definitely go for Badgey. I would definitely go for Choo Choo. I would definitely go. Well, maybe not the dog. Maybe not the Jeffrey Combs robot, but definitely Badgey and Choo Choo.
Well, my Tendy character definitely needs the dog sweater. So I'm really excited about that. Of course, they're all laying bets in Armada chat that I need these sweaters on all 40 of my characters. Well, I have more than 40, but no, I don't know that all my characters need sweater. Well, maybe they do.
I think Star Trek Online should submit these so that people can print them, like and get like those sweaters.
I want to wear. I mean, I want a sweater now, like a real one.
That's what I'm saying.
Sweater.
They should
Yeah.
they should like upload the GIF or the I don't know they should touch base with somebody who
Cafe
knits
Presto.
sweaters so that there's like a pattern that people can knit, or you can just print it on top of another sweater. You know, like the easy Christmas sweaters that it's just
That
a
would
print
be
on a sweater.
amazing.
They should totally do that.
I would buy that if they could put that in the Zen store. I'd pay Zen for it.
I'd pay $60 for that.
Oh yeah, easily. Does anyone in chat have bets going on what the ship's going to be? I don't know that they announced. I think they're announcing it tomorrow in the live stream, but I mean, it seems to me like it's going to be a Breen ship based on the ground set.
I bet it's a Breen. But while we're on the topic of purchasing things in Star Trek Online, did you take advantage of any of the Mud Market packs this time around?
No, I didn't, because that latest Muds bundle that was available, even though it was on sale, it wasn't ships that I was really interested in, and it was still $150. So
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
no,
even on sale.
On sale, it was on sale, and with Zen sale, I was able to get it for $120. So
Okay.
there's my quarterly $100 purchase for Star Trek Online.
What ship did you want? The Section 31?
Yeah, Section 31. That I really wanted. And you know what? I am not disappointed. I don't use I don't let it disintegrate. I don't use that ability. It is cool. It's a very cool ability. It's visually impressive. But that battle cruiser is no joke. I would say better even than the Fleet Arbiter or the Picard version of it.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's not as agile, but it definitely packs a punch and is quite durable. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I instead of getting since I don't do upgrades often, I don't swap out my equipment enough to merit the tech upgrades. I still have a bunch from like the anniversary event and the Omega that I doubled up on Lobby.
Nice.
Since
That's cool.
I never open up boxes. So you know what? I'm happy with this Section 31. And the way I rationalized the purchase was that you can get the ship using energy credits from the exchange, but it's super expensive, number one. And number two, there weren't very many available. Like, it would be like one on the exchange every time I checked. And I would check maybe once a day, every other day or so. And then we've never spoken about them on this show, ever. We've never, ever spoken about these websites on this show, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it for the first time in 10 years. There are third-party sites that you can buy. It's an exchange. It's a third-party exchange with people. And many of them had valued the Section 31 ship at $125 or $150. So you pay them, you pay the user, and then they deliver it to your inbox. Supposedly, I can't confirm or deny.
It's a little shady to me, but
but
at your own risk.
At your own risk, and nor did I mention what website. I'm just saying that they exist. But yeah, for $120 something. So, I was like, well, I could, if I felt evil, I could go the shady route. But instead I figured, you know what, for $120, not only am I getting the ship, but I'm getting either the Lobby or the captain token or blah, blah, blah. And, it was a better bang for my buck.
Well, as an option of going to the dark side and random websites, we have a whole armada full of people who sometimes have a stockpile of ships in their banks that they are happily work out some type of exchange with you.
That's good to know. That's good to know. That's good to know.
I'm not saying like anybody has exactly what you're looking for, but you can always ask. I mean, what's the harm in asking? Somebody may have, like some of us, maybe not me, maybe still have a mirror crossfield sitting in the bank, just sitting there. That's been there for a long time, but I don't know what I want to do with it yet. So.
And no, Ken, it's not on the dark web. You don't have to launch Tor. It's a very dark web. It's a very, it's. The website's out there. It's a reputable site. And come to think of it, I don't think it goes against the terms of service for Star Trek Online. I don't think it does. Nobody talks about it, but I don't think it does.
I don't know.
If only we had
I'd have to reread. Yeah, I'm like, I've never looked for that issue specifically, but I suppose we could. Anyway.
You can go ahead and read this next story.
In a recent interview with StarTrek.com, design director Al Rivera and staff writer Paul Reed discussed what it was like to incorporate Star Trek Discovery into Star Trek Online. The two discussed their initial reactions to hearing about the new show and how having new content to draw from and how that has helped add more content to the game. Because captains in the game have gone to all four quadrants, and I can't say the word for some reason.
Are you sure, AJ? Are you sure? All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I would think that would violate terms of service.
I would think so too. Hey, Hatsune.
Well, anyway, hey, Claudia. Where was I? Oh, trying to say the word quadrant. Okay. Because captains in the game have gone to all four quadrants, made peace with the founders, saved time itself, and even won, barely, a war against the ancient Iconians, having new Star Trek shows like Discovery gives the team that extra bit of inspiration. Reed already has an interesting idea for how to tie the lore into the far future setting of Discovery's third and fourth seasons, saying, quote, "For example, are the Iconians still around in that time era? And if so, what are they doing? Have they evolved? Have they changed? Are they still mad? It's been a long time, but I'd like to go into some pockets of our lore in that far future and then tie in with the Discovery team in some way."
Take it back from It's Been a Long Time.
Damn it. It's been a long time, but I'd like to go into some pockets of our lore that in the balls. It's been a long time, but I'd like to go into some pockets of our lore in that far future and then tie. And then I can't read. It's been a long time, but I'd like to go into some pockets of our lore in that far future and then tie in with the Discovery team in some way. So seeing how the Iconians handled the burn, for example, would be pretty cool, end quote. Rivera had some of his own ideas for stories to tap into, saying, quote, "And they got all the sphere data. What was that about? That's a perfect example of a story where we can jump off and talk about what that was, or what's a Gormagander. Let's talk about that." So there are opportunities. Dang you, Al Rivera, with the words. So there are opportunities there, end quote. Well, I, for one, am really looking forward to all these new storylines in game. I would like to play them anytime right now.
You know, we've said this time and again that Star Trek Online shines when it takes an episode of Star Trek and expands upon it, right? I mean, the Iconian arc was several years in the making since launch and was spectacular. All the while sprinkling breadcrumbs, answering questions, expanding on themes, expanding on stories from existing Star Trek. Then Discovery came along and ruined it for everyone. And what I mean by that is I feel, and I've said this on the show before, I feel like Star Trek Online is shoehorning themselves into having to produce something with Discovery, so we have to pop something out, and we can get the voice actors, and we have the budget for them, so let's pay the voice actors and get them in on the game. And I understand that there is a market for that, and there's a marketing reason for that, right? To get people who might be watching the show to play the game. But I feel that it's been at the expense of some of the storytelling. And, you know, already in this season of Discovery, spoiler alert, you know, they already threw out Zora, the computer. You know, they name dropped her in passing. And that whole sphere data thing, that was a big plot point in season 2 of Discovery, right? That was like a huge thing for a couple of episodes, and then Discovery completely dropped it. If Star Trek Online is going to tie in to Discovery and try to lure in those viewers, I would rather them not pay for voice actors, at least, you know, the main cast of actors, and put that money into telling a story that doesn't involve them. All right? If it costs $3,000 to have Sonequa Martin Green read 4 or 5 pages, put that money into developing a story, creating content, sans famous people. That's where I would like to be with Star Trek Online. We're so overdue for new content, so overdue for another epic story. And as much as I love this new Section 31 ship, I log in, I play a patrol or maybe a TFO, I might do an Endeavor if it interests me, and then I log out. Like 20 minutes, 30 minutes tops. And I miss the days where I spent hours in Star Trek Online, you know. I miss those days.
Well, I can still spend hours in Star Trek Online, but I don't spend those hours running story missions, which is sad because they're really good missions. But when you've played them 40-something odd times, I mean, yeah, you do really start to crave new content or new things to do. But I am looking forward to the winter event and new sweaters. So even more Space Barbie.
But those are items, though. Those are
I know.
I want to.
I wish they did have a new event or something to do in the winter event. I mean, we've had these same events for a few years now. So I hope they are working on some ways to refresh some of these regular, you know, repeating events. I would like a Murph as well. I agree with all you guys. There's so much from Lower Decks. I mean, it takes a long time to develop the stories. So I think we'll continue to see items for a while until, you know, maybe they can come up. Well, we don't know what they have planned, but I hope it's good.
Well, in a recent tweet, environment artist Nick Duguid reminisced about the launch of Club 47 on Earth Space Dock 7 years ago. Nick says it doesn't get much traffic these days, but the launch party looked like a really good time. And boy, do I remember that launch party.
Were you there?
47. I don't know. I might have been working at that time, but I mean, you know, I remember the relaunch of Club 47 was a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, we go there for fleet events. Sometimes it's fun play. I mean, I don't say I go there all the time, but they have a nice bar and the DJ you can talk to with a dance floor. So that's
Man,
super
remember
fun.
Earth Space Dock, the old Earth Space Dock? The ring.
Yes.
It was just the ring around.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
All right. I think that's it.
Go ahead, sweep us up.
That wraps up gaming news this week. Now let's look on screen for the latest episode of Star Trek Discovery.
Okay, that ended at 47:32. Please. All right, let's jump right into closing. Ready? 47:45. 47:45. 3, 2. Well, captains, hailing frequencies are now open, and we're ready to receive all of your incoming messages.
Oh, do we have feedback this week? That's an old one.
Isn't this all from last week that he was gonna assemble, and I told him?
Oh, I thought we read these.
Did we?
Yeah. Yeah, this is old.
Actually, you know what? I can.
Because we were talking about. We were talking about what UEDF is.
What? I honestly, I can't recall.
The Earth Defense Force. I mean, it feels like we talked about this, so I'm pretty sure we did.
Oops.
Oh, whoops. Yeah, that is from our last show.
Yeah, these are all old. All right. Oh, well. All right. So.
Sorry, no feedback.
Sorry, no feedback. So, actually, can you do a new timestamp? 49:05. 49:05. 3, 2. Well, that wraps up episode 532. Frack.
I just fixed it.
Oh, oops. What's going on? Why can't I edit anything? Okay. Well, that wraps up episode 533 of Priority One, a Roddenberry Star Trek podcast. But there are more great shows available to you on the Roddenberry Podcast Network. Just visit podcasts.roddenberry.com for a complete list. Then be sure to subscribe to them all and share them with your friends.
And we can't forget to send a special thanks to some of our Patreon supporters like David K. Rutley, Peter Archibald, and Gerald Bosch.
One second. Yeah, right. Now, captains, it's important to us that you get your voice heard and that you participate in the conversation, like Ginger Trekkie did over the Thanksgiving break, and so many more of you. Leave us a comment or voicemail message on our website at PriorityOnePodcast.com, on our Facebook page at Facebook.com/PriorityOnePodcast, or follow us on Twitter and Instagram at PriorityOnePod.
The dog's about to bark. You hush. And if you're still craving more, be sure to spend time with Winters, Anthony, Thomas, Gray, me, plus the rest of the Priority One Armada. Saturday nights, the Armada broadcasts live to review the latest news from Star Trek Online and the Armada community, including spotlighting some of our amazing members. With regular giveaways, there's something for all Stowe players, whether you're new or a veteran. Follow us on all our social media accounts for broadcast times, and if you'd like to join the Armada, visit PriorityOneArmada.com.
This episode of Priority One is brought to you by our patrons through Patreon.com. If you happen to find value in the production of this podcast, okay, captains, producing a show like ours unfortunately isn't entirely free. So if you happen to find value in the production of this show, visit us over at patreon.com/Priority One and find out about all the cool perks we have to offer. Now, it's the holiday season, and I know that everybody is saving their dimes and dollars. So another way you can support the show is by sharing it with your friends, recommending it, leaving a review, giving it a thumbs up. The more you share the show with the more you share the show on social media, the more you share our show on social media, the better chance we have of providing a weekly roundup of the Star Trek headlines to you and your friends. I don't improv very well.
So I'm like, wait, where are we? Don't forget to tune in to Priority One Productions' Guard Frequency podcast at guardfrequency.com. Each episode, the Guard will take you inside the universe of your favorite space sims, including a tabletop adventure played out by your hosts. And Heroes Rise brings you up to date with the world of Dungeons and Dragons.
What was that?
It's my dog. I need to go out. Learn all about... Shush. Just a minute. Learn all about the latest publications, tools, tips. Hold on. Let me go let the dogs out. Sorry.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Okay. Sorry, they're probably going to go attack some squirrel outside. All right. Where was I?
Don't forget to tune into.
Oh, man. I got to start over. Don't forget to tune in to Priority One Productions' Guard Frequency podcast at guardfrequency.com. Each episode, the Guard will take you inside the universe of your favorite space sims, including a tabletop adventure played out by your hosts. And Heroes Rise brings you up to date with the world of Dungeons and Dragons. Thanks, Jamal. Learn all about... And Heroes Rise brings you up to date with the world of Dungeons and Dragons. Learn all about the latest publications, tools, tips, tricks, and traps in less time than it takes to skin a wyvern. Head over to heroesrisepodcast.com to discover their secrets.
Thanks to our audio editors. This week, our intro and closing were edited by William Hardy. Trek It Out by Rand Hurl. Gaming by Brandon Parker. On Screen by Alex. Thanks to our producer, Jake, and associate producers, Shane and Thomas. Together, they help us organize and write up our summary of the weekly headlines from the Star Trek multiverse. Thanks to our graphic artist, Alejandro, with support from Jason of the Priority One Armada. Thanks to our social media managers, Sarah and James. Thanks to the composer of our theme music, Chris Watts. But most importantly, a big thanks to you, the Star Trek community, our listeners. Because without your ongoing support, none of this would be possible. All right, captains, that's a wrap for this episode of Priority One, episode 533. Again, thank you so very much for joining us after the holiday break. Again, we hope that you enjoyed your time off, and thanks for coming back and being a part, sharing your Tuesday night with us. Again, shout out to everybody in the chat, folks like KelMG, Anne-Marie Siegel, what's up? Ken from Chicago, Hatsuni, Wake Roberts, and a lot of our usual suspects like Jamal and Dave Rutley, AJ Biega. So thank you all. Thank you all. Did I say Ken from Chicago and Joey?
I know. I was like, did you say hey to Ken?
Ken and Joey. So so thank you all, and we'll be back again next Tuesday for episode 544, and if you want to listen to our review of this Thursday's episode of Star Trek Discovery, then you will have to download our episode on Friday. And when you see that our episode is published on Friday, my dear friends who are in the chat and are also always here with us, don't forget to share it. Give us an extra little bump. So until next Tuesday, say goodnight.
Bye. Bye, y'all.